In this episode, I assemble a Nova Kimber LAPD metal kit. My donor gun will be a Tokyo Marui M1911A1 Colt Government, since that is the best way of making sure I have all the necessary parts for a functioning gun. This will not be a complete Kimber LAPD, but rather a Kimber LAPD/Colt Government frankengun. These are all the parts I'm going to use from my donor gun. If you want to see a disassemble of it, here's the link. And these are the parts that came with the kit. Starting with the frame, I first transplant the trigger, which is easy and straightforward. I move on to install the inner frame. I do this inside of a box, so I won't lose the wiley GM1-48 spring. I also make sure the hammer strut is in the right position before proceeding. I then secure the inner frame with the hex head screw, which will be hidden behind the slide catch. After that, I install the pins holding the inner frame and associated parts in place. Secure the inner frame with the screw that came with the metal kit. Turning the gun upside down, let part GM1-46, the disconnector, fall into place with a little help. Maybe more than a little. Next, I install the leaf spring, making sure the hammer strut rests on top of it. I install the grip safety and mainspring housing, and again make sure the hammer strut is in the right position, which is not like this, slightly more to the left, so it's centered. When I solve the hammer strut and mainspring housing problem, I secure everything in place with this pin, making sure I install it from left to right, since it is wedge shaped. I place the plunger tube on the frame and push it into place. I then push the slide catch plunger in. Next, the cannibalized plunger spring. And lastly, the thumb safety plunger. I install the thumb safety. With some help from a small screwdriver, being careful not to pinch my fingers. Ow! I hurt my glove. The grip bushings that came with the kit are screwed onto the frame. The Marui 1911 mag catch is cannibalized and installed. Turn it counterclockwise into position. I install the Tokyo Marui M1911A1 grips, which are made out of lies and deception, on the Kimber frame. But don't worry, these grips will be replaced in a later episode. I place the cannibalized slide rail into the Kimber slide and screw it into place. I place the cannibalized blowback housing into the Kimber slide and realize that it doesn't fit. Next, I modify the right rear of it in order to fit the Nova slide. This could be done with a hacksaw, but I slowly grind it down with a file to get the perfect fit. Here's the before and after. After modifying the blowback housing, it drops right in. I can now install the nozzle return spring from the top of the slide. I then take the rear sight and drop it in at an angle at the slide's midpoint. I then push it as far to the left as I can, and it's done. Now I can secure the blowback housing to the slide using the cannibalized hex screw. I take the included firing pin spring and place it on the hex screw. I then carefully place the fake firing pin on the spring. Next, I drop this plate on top of it all and hope nothing is disturbed. I can now put the fake extractor in place and secure it with the included grub screw on the bottom of the slide. Lastly, I install the front sight. I do so by applying a drop of Threadlock. I choose Threadlock since you can reverse the process with heat, making sure I push the front sight in from left to right. I wipe away any excess with a paper towel. You really should wait 24 hours for it to harden, but test firing it once or twice don't bother me. I'm too excited! I take the inner barrel assembly from the donor gun and place it inside the barrel that came with the metal kit. After the barrel, I install the cannibalized recoil spring plunger, recoil spring, and recoil spring guide. To top it all off, I install the Marui barrel bushing, making the slide complete. I then check that I have not messed up my front sight in any way before the Threadlock hardens. I can now put the complete slide on the frame. Before installing the slide, make sure the thumb safety is pushed as far down as possible. Otherwise you'll be wondering for the next half hour why your slide keeps getting stuck in this position. I'm not saying this happened to me, but I'm also not denying it. Lining up the disassembly notch on the slide with the cutout on the frame, and insert the slide catch. It might be necessary to push in the slide catch plunger with a screwdriver. Thus making the gun complete. Let's test fire this thing. Oh, Nova. Please like and subscribe. If you like this video, check out some of the other videos we've made.